Hi, I'm Drew Saur, and today I want to talk about 3 different types of change that you may need. So I'm assuming if you're watching this video or you're following my stuff, you want more out of your career, right? You want a better position, you want more purpose, there's something else that you want. And typically, in order to get what we want, we often need to change something about ourselves to give ourselves a better possibility of getting that thing we want. And so today, we just want to cover 3 different categories of change that we may need, because each one has a slightly different way to go about it and requires a different amount of effort. So the 3 groupings are strategy, skill, and mindset. And as you can imagine, it kind of goes from easiest to hardest. So we'll start with strategy. Strategy is a direction. You want to go somewhere, but you just don't know how to approach it. If you got a big presentation, you're trying to get a promotion, you want to have a high-level view of what are the general things you can do, what's the direction you can go to get there. The good thing about a strategy is you can actually get it very, very quickly, particularly if you find somebody who's done it before. So in a single conversation, you can go from having no strategy to having a pretty good strategy once you find the right resources. So that's easy. If you don't have a strategy, that's always the first place to start. Make sure you have a general plan for how to approach whatever the goal is that you're trying to get. The second piece is skill. So skill fundamentally is a set of instructions. How do you actually do that thing? So, okay, I want to get promoted. Okay, I need to be a better presenter. I need to develop my networking. I need to do some significant delivery and get some wins. Okay, that's my strategy. Those are the 3 things I'm going to focus on. So now I have a skill. And a skill would be being a better presenter, right? What would you do in terms of how would you speak? What would you do with your hands? What kind of content? How do you engage the audience? Those are all skills, and they're instructions, and you can find them. Now, skills can be either very quick or very long, right? If you have a new app and you don't know how to do something, you don't know where the menu item is, you don't have that skill. But you can look it up in about 5 seconds, and suddenly you have that skill. You know how to do that thing in that app. There are some skills. You want to be a concert pianist. Well, I can teach you the basics very quickly. Okay, this is how you read music. These are what the keys are. And all you have to do is play the keys based on the way the music says to play them. Conceptually very simple. In practice, really hard to do, right? And something that some of us may never be able to do because we don't possess the inherent finger dexterity or whatever the case may be. So skills go from that. You can pick it up in 2 seconds to it can take a lifetime to get it. The good news is it's very straightforward, and all you need to do is figure out how much time is it going to take to get that. Are there ways to speed that up, perhaps, if you can find a more effective learning method? And then it's about putting in the time. I think I mentioned previously about the concept of deliberate practice. If you haven't really heard that term before, Google it. But it's a way to focus on improving a skill through what they call deliberate practice, which is focusing on a specific aspect, doing sort of feedback, and iterating over time. Look it up. It's a great way to improve your acquisition of a skill. But again, like strategy, skill is pretty easy to understand, and sometimes hard to do, but pretty easy to understand. The third bucket, which is the deeper one, is mindset. This is about what are your beliefs. And sometimes these can be limiting. So you have a strategy, you have a skill, but for some reason, you're not getting where you want to go. If you've kind of gone through those first 2 buckets, this is where it does become important to look at mindset. And this is something that, as a coach, I often work with people on this, but this is where you really need to do a little self-reflection, because oftentimes you want that promotion, but you're just not trying to get it. If you dig a little deeper, you may find that you have a belief that may not be the right thing. For example, I want to make more money. I want to be a big shot. Well, that's kind of greedy, right? Could be. Well, if it's greedy, that's probably not the best thing for me to do. I don't want to be greedy. And so you have this belief that if you're going for the money, well, you need to think about, is that really the right thing to do? You could reframe that belief to say, I'm not going for the money, I'm going to provide a better life for my family. Right? That sounds much more positive, a much better reason for getting the money. It's not because you're greedy, it's because you want to provide for your children, for your family, for the community, whatever the case may be. And so that's an idea of digging down and figuring out what your underlying beliefs are, and then you can do things like reframe, like we just talked about, but basically figure out how to change the beliefs. The good news, beliefs are changeable. Any belief we have came from somewhere. Came from our community, came from our parents, came from ourselves. But because it came from somewhere, you can actually change it. You can install new beliefs, which is one of the most powerful things you can do. It's also one of the hardest. But it's important not to shy away from the deep ones because that's where the power is. So again, today, just want to say, what are the changes that you need to make and which category are there? Are they in strategy? Relatively straightforward. Find people who've done it before. Figure out what path you should take. Once you have a strategy, you understand what kind of skills you need. Again, there are instructions. It takes a certain amount of time. You need to put in the effort, but you can build those skills. If you have those two things, but still something's not quite working, that's when you want to go into a mindset and say, are there any beliefs that I may have that are holding me back? And again, whichever area you're in, you think about it, you come up with an approach for how to get better, whether that's just reaching out to somebody, taking a course, getting a coach, whatever the case may be, ask for help. Again, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. So I always encourage people, ask for help if you need it. So there you go. What kind of change do you need? Think about which of the buckets it's actually in, because that will help inform what approach you need to do in order to get past that change to get what you want. So I hope you found that useful. As always, if you want some more in-depth videos and content, you can go to my site, drewsaur.com, sign up for my next level crash course, drewsaur.com/next level, and I look forward to seeing you next time.